Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We have a massive show today. What a week. What a weekend. Trump is verifiably blessed. We will start with Wall Street. They had over $1 billion in Bitcoin inflows last week. Larry Fink wants to stack your sats. Germany has finished selling their 50,000 Bitcoin, and Trump, he did get the photo opportunity of the year. Unfortunately, the circumstances were dire. Elon Musk has come out in full support now. We'll dive into that. Bitcoin pumped back to 60K. We're just above 61,000 at the minute. We'll dive in to how these two things go together. Trump, love him or hate him, is a man of steel. Like Neo out of the Matrix, Trump, he's reaffirmed he will be attending the Bitcoin conference later on this month. And then we have Russia proposing to allow Bitcoin trading. JP Morgan suffering a major loss. Let's dive straight in to the orange man.
I will ensure that the future of crypto and the future of Bitcoin will be made in the USA, not driven overseas. I will support the right to self-custody to the nation's 50 million crypto holders. I say this with your vote. I will keep Elizabeth Warren and her goons away from your Bitcoin. And I will never allow the creation of a central bank digital currency.
Those last words, will never allow the creation of a central bank digital currency. We're going to unpack that a little bit further. We have Caitlin Long tweeting or posting here on X, chaos. Bitcoin goes up in reaction. This was over the weekend, straight up and to the right. Maybe to get a little bit of clarity around it, of all people, we need to hear what Larry Fink has to say. This is a video going a while back when he was on his PR tour for Bitcoin, but it explains what happened on the weekend pretty well with the Bitcoin price. And shout out to everyone watching live, watching the replay. If you can, smash the like button. Greatly appreciated. Now over to Mr. Fink.
I believe, I believe it goes up if the world is more frightened, if people have fearful of geopolitical risk, they're fearful of their own risk. It's no different than what gold represented over thousands of years. It is a asset class that protects you. Right. And unlike gold, where we manufacture new gold, we're almost at the ceiling of the amount of Bitcoin that we created.
Somebody like
it's great with geopolitical risks. It goes up in a world that is frightened. It's an asset class that protects. So if we dive into the Bitcoin chart, I haven't refreshed it. I just wanted to show what happened over the weekend. Real quick down, and then it just absolutely pumped up into the right very quickly on the devastating news. I haven't refreshed the chart since this morning. I thought I'd do that live here. Over $60,000, nearly at 61,000, 60,970. If we go down the last 24 hours, 58,300 was the low, 60,900 where we are right now is the high. Over the last 7 days, 54,694 for the low, and where we are right now being the high, 60,990. We've got that there on the block clock, or there back on the wall. Absolutely crazy, hey? We can see the shot seen around the world. Jake Thomas is absolutely crazy. What's going on? We'll get to a bit of a banter at the end, and I want to dive in a little bit more. But maybe there's a couple of reasons for it. First off, Elon Musk has come out. I fully endorse President Trump and hope for his rapid recovery. I did see a video of Trump playing golf, so it looks like an inch, and things could have gone dramatically worse. Obviously, I'm over here in Australia, not in the US, so I don't know what it would have been like in the ground if things did go the other way. Grateful it didn't, and prayers and thoughts with the family that lost a soul in their household over the weekend. But Nayib B. Kelly jumping into the mix here. Democracy? Questioning it. Now, Bitcoin Teddy. Trump promises to back the US dollar with Bitcoin on his platform Truth. Do you realize what that'd mean if he actually did it? Donald J. Trump. The reason they hate Bitcoin is because they can't control it. I'm a huge fan of Bitcoin. When I return to office, I'll back the US dollar with Bitcoin. I'm not saying these things are related. I'm just saying these are the things that have happened in the past and that Trump has said. Bitcoin sapiens. Presidents who oppose central banks' Federal Reserves. James Garfield, gone. William McKinney, gone. John F. Kennedy, gone. Andrew Jackson, gone. Donald Trump, almost gone. attempted 2 weeks before headlining the world's largest Bitcoin conference. Related or not, I do not know. Bitcoin News, this article came out 10 days before the attempt on Trump's life. Trump sparks talks of Bitcoin as a strategic reserve asset. Peter Schiff. Not in regards to Trump, but highly related. Powell warned Congress that eliminating the Fed risked high future inflation, but inflation was much higher after the Fed was established than before. The key is not to only eliminate the Fed, but to go back on a gold standard. Gold standard, unfortunately, is not going to happen. We live in a digital age. We don't want to hand Congress a printing press. And then we have the retort or the rhetoric from President Donald J. Trump. Trump has expressed wholehearted support for crypto on the campaign trail. He is set to speak at a Bitcoin conference in Nashville this month. The Republican platform vows to halt the Biden administration crackdown on the industry. We're going to dive into a video very shortly as Senator Cynthia Lummis as well, diving into CBDCs and how bad they are. But David Bailey has received an update. I've just spoken with the president's team. He's in good spirits. So good to hear, hey, and is excited to see you all in Nashville and deliver a speech that is heard around the world. That speech, like Trump or don't like Trump, it's not a politically focused channel, will be very closely watched. The world is watching. Larry Fink and Trump both endorsing Bitcoin. Elon Musk, and this is a little bit of speculation, but we'll dive into why this may happen. Coming on endorsing Trump, he did say he would start accepting Bitcoin when a certain metric was hit. We have hit that metric, which we'll unpack later on in the video. If these things come together and then X starts incorporating Bitcoin, what we're going to see this cycle is going to be absolutely wild. What we saw last week was wild. Julian Farrar, I am doing a podcast with him. If you've got any questions for this gentleman, let us know in the comments after the show. But huge week for Bitcoin ETF. More than 1 billion of inflows, 17,500 Bitcoin, second biggest inflow week since March. That was last week. What happens when Wall Street wakes up? We're at $60,885, 64K in play. Highly probable, volatility expected. It's coming $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 to the up, to the downside. We're going to get those. We've had $10,000 week, not a $10,000 day yet. I would expect that and plan accordingly. Study Bitcoin, read the books, because this thing is going up and to the right. Forever, over time, short term, it's going to get pretty hectic, pretty volatile. Robert Kiyosaki on a post on Wednesday warned of an impending difficult period, emphasizing that success comes to those who know how to thrive when dealt a bad hand. He cautioned that many might suffer significant losses during this challenging time, urged his followers not to be among the losers. Bad hand is coming. In my previous tweet, I stated success comes to those who know how to thrive when dealt that bad hand. The bad hand is being dealt now. Millions will lose. Please don't be one of the losers. Kiyosaki wrote, adding, Bitcoin is rising in prices. Wall Street loads up on Bitcoin. This is your time to turn a bad hand into a great hand. Buy more gold, silver, and Bitcoin. And just finishing off Kiyosaki's train of thought, Kiyosaki himself continues to purchase more, adopting a long-term strategy similar to Warren Buffett's buy and hold forever approach. He has cautioned against investing in Bitcoin ETFs, advocating for owning real Bitcoin instead. Kiyosaki revealed that he initially bought 60 Bitcoin at $6,000 each, since been buying more every month. Despite Bitcoin's volatile price, he believes it remains the easiest way to become a millionaire and foresees significant price increases. I could not agree more with that. Despite Bitcoin's volatile price, it's the easiest way to become a millionaire. I think Kiyosaki is on there when you zoom out, of course. Dr. Jeff Ross, and things are going to get insanely bullish, and we're going to start to transition into that. Now, if this potential breakout in global M2 money supply doesn't excite you, then we are not the same. The breakout holds a new upside trend develops, then I will officially transition from Dr. Bull Crab to Dr. Bull. You've been warned. Breaking out just above there. We'll continue to watch that. Refresh on a time chain. We are at block height 852,198. TikTok next block. Bitcoin exchange rate 60,789. On the time chain, if we go to the back screen, we're at 60,902, give or take $100 or $200. Sats per USD, incredibly good deal today. Still get 1,645 for every $1 you spend. Market cap of Bitcoin, it's so small, it's so minute. Gold's at like 13 trillion, we're at $1.2 trillion. Bitcoin's going to overtake gold. When? I don't know. Is that definite? I do not know. Do I believe so? 100%. Just a matter of time, in my opinion. Last block, 6 minutes and 15 seconds. Transaction fees, they're down a whole lot. The ordinals have calmed their farm a little bit. Mempool is still backed up at 134,000 transactions unconfirmed, but right on target, 9 minutes and 43 seconds. A little bit of a hash rate increase, nearly 2% in the last 24 hours. Now, don't be like Germany. Most people aren't going to give you your free Bitcoin after you sell 50,000 Bitcoin. They didn't have a choice. We'll dive into a little bit more. We've covered that in depth. But the German government, they may have $1 worth of Bitcoin. The German government sent their entire balance of 49,860 Bitcoin, $2.9 billion to exchanges and market makers in the past 3 weeks. 2 hours after sending off their final batch of Bitcoin, the German government received 0.0000321 Bitcoin from an unknown individual, making Germany's national Bitcoin holdings worth just under $2 there, $1.87. Bitcoiners, no wonder they call you psychopaths. It's good to see. Hold on to your Bitcoin, though. You don't need to send it to someone that sold 50,000 Bitcoin.
Where people are making a lot of money. You might have heard
this is the reason why you hold on to it. This is Natalie Brunell on Fox Business with CV Payne. Just the first part of this, I'll repost it at Sean Clark 911 over on X. But this is what we're here for, yeah?
Another area where people are making a lot of money. You might have heard of it. Crypto? Bitcoin? Anyone? Why do people love Bitcoin? Why do they love crypto? Well, I got to tell you something. 28% of young folks say they want it, and I'll tell you why. Going back to 2013, the number one asset, the number one performing asset, Bitcoin, 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 Bitcoin. How much? How about 315,000%? 315,000%. There's one drawback. The years it wasn't number one, it was last. Still, though, 315,000.
If you're not first, you're last. I like that. And I will take that trade absolutely any day, irresponsibly, not even irresponsibly long, irresponsibly doing the right thing, I believe, in my opinion. And that is the reason why this video, where Natalie Brunell dives into it, absolutely incredible. There's another 2.5 minutes there worth watching. So I have reposted that for everyone on X. It's going to be insane, in my opinion. Do we get a bit of a pullback because we pump back up as Wall Street comes on? Maybe, but maybe they just send it straight to 64K, then 69K. And a couple of reasons why. The amount of shorts between here and 63K is equal to one Germany. A second Germany between 63 and 66K. If they get liquidated as Wall Street comes back online, I think we're going to see a massive rip, a massive rally to the upside. Does that happen this week? It's pretty likely. There's still the chance that it doesn't. Let's hedge both sides, but it's pretty easy. In these volatile times, we buy, we stack, we chill, we follow our game plan, and we just stack sats and we just watch the chart, see what's happening, get used to the red days, because they're the ones that are going to shake people up when we have those $10,000 days down. That's the hardest one. Like Robert Kiyosaki says, you need to be able to have conviction and turn a bad hand into a good hand. In every crisis, there's opportunity. We are seeing the Fear and Greed Index has had a nice, healthy reset over the last week. Still sitting at 33 there. Shout out to everyone that is watching live and watching the replay. If you can, smash the like button. And if you haven't already, hit subscribe if we vibe. Tomorrow morning, Jeff Yu, the CEO of Monochrome, who were the first people in Australia to launch a Bitcoin ETF. It is in kind, so you can withdraw the Bitcoin. That's what I'm most interested about, is actually holding Bitcoin in self-custody. Fascinating conversation live tomorrow morning. So hit that notification bell to know that we are live and you don't miss it. But 33, we're sitting at fear, which is crazy after nearly a $2,000 pump in the last 24 hours. It is what it is. The lower, the longer this stays down here, fear, extreme fear, the better, the healthier it is. We get a nice floor. It is good to see. And like Warren Buffett says, be greedy when others are fearful and fearful when others are greedy. Maybe now's a good time to be able to stack. The world's healing, Cynthia alumnus here, strategic reserve asset, everything is pointing towards Bitcoin adoption, hyper Bitcoin adoption. That video, that interview that I did with Lawrence Lepard, maybe we have 10 more years of them kicking the can down the road. But if we can wait 10 years and have at least a 10-year time frame, we're sitting pretty, I reckon.
No central bank digital currency. I'm so happy about that because that's a means of surveillance of the American people. But we want to make sure people can have individual wallets for their Bitcoin so they have that sovereign over their own money. We know we want the US dollar to remain strong. And actually having Bitcoin in reserve can help the US dollar remain strong.
Having Bitcoin in reserve can help the US dollar remain strong. It's a truthful narrative, but it still requires a lot of propaganda, programming, information, not misinformation from the Bitcoin community. Dennis Porter's doing amazing things over in the States. Cynthia alumnus now having Trump as well, speaking so actively and advocating it for it alongside Larry Fink, slowly then suddenly, or gradually then suddenly. Shout out to Parker Lewis in his book. Be safe out there, really quickly. Couple of things that may be a little bit of a downer, but something to be aware of. We do live in a digital age. Some people keep their Bitcoin on their phone or they have passwords on the phone. It's not good. Massive AT&T announces massive data breach affecting over 100 million customers. Virtually all of their customers exposing their text messages, pictures they send to lovers, secrets they share, their videos. You can see the full video there. I'll repost that. I have reposted that for everyone. And these things will continue to keep happening. They're criminals. They're going to get smarter. The world is becoming more hostile, more unpredictable, and more dangerous. More than ever, you need to get prepared. I'll talk about the Bitcoin Way in 2 seconds, today's sponsor. Just be careful out there. Go through, change your passwords, make sure you have 2FA on all the accounts where you can. It's really easy to do the basics. Please do the basics. You're playing with generational wealth here. Please do the right thing. Make sure your seed is on steel minimum and it's not on the exchange, definitely. But Bitcoin and self-custody, it gives you the ability in an increasingly uncertain world. Combined with Plan B citizenship, it gives you and your family options. Waste no more time. Start now. After the events that we've seen over the weekend, cybersecurity hacks, what we've seen since 2020, the madness of the world, all these things are happening and that's fine. Where I live in central Queensland, 2020 really didn't affect me. Hardly noticed what was going on. We're pretty good up here. We're so isolated. We're so far from anywhere. But then some of the capital cities and stuff where people are is Orwellian times. It was absolutely insane. If you don't like where you are, you need help. Number one, get your money right. Secure your bag. Have a grab bag. KYC free. Do the right thing. Air gap wallet. Reach out to the Bitcoin Way if you need help. First 30 minutes is free. 25 years cybersecurity experience. Secure your Bitcoin and self-custody, then protect your devices, 2FA, firewalls, VPNs, AI threat detection, then diversify your citizenship and secure your future. Not only having a second passport just allow you to just be able to pull the release valve, the escape hatch, and eject out of there. But you can go to places that are more tax-friendly as well. So first 30 minutes free, link top of the description. And say g'day, I will be doing another podcast with Tony later on this week. My favorite person in Bitcoin. The guy is on a mission to make sure people don't screw up this opportunity. He understood. He went through what happened in Lebanon with the hyperinflation. And we're going to continue to go up. It's nearly inevitable at this time. Odd rates, the odds of at least one federal rate cut by September 18, 95% we've been calling September here since probably September last year on the channel, maybe a little bit after that. Very, very likely going into the election. And we're going to, couple of things here I want to thread together. JP Morgan announcing big losses to big banks, announcing massive, massive losses. People are feeling pain. Inflation, the numbers come down a little bit. We all know they make it up anyway, but judging by their own metrics, it looks like they're about to give themselves permission to cut rates, fire up the money printer, which will lead to number go up. What I was referring to earlier with Elon Musk, obviously jumping in, endorsing Trump. Trump's endorsed Bitcoin, said he's willing to back the US dollar with Bitcoin. Elon Musk back in the day started accepting Bitcoin as great, Bitcoin absolutely pumped, and he said, no, we're not accepting it anymore. We're going to wait until Bitcoin is 50% renewable energy use. Now, currently Bitcoin is above that. Updated figures from Daniel Batten, new all-time high. Bitcoin mining now uses 56.2% sustainable energy. Current rate of increase to across 60% by July 2025. Be 80% sustainable by the end of 2030. Elon's endorsing Trump. Elon said that he would start accepting Bitcoin when it's over 50%. If those two things actually come together, he's got all those licenses, banking licenses, and 30 odd states out of 50 at the moment. He's on a mission to get all of them. That's pretty crazy. Rates being cut, money printing being fired up, FASB accounting at the end of the year, even what Michael Saylor's doing with his stock split. Germany, they're out of coin. We're not seeing that onto the market anymore. We still have Mt. Gox. But then we've got the FTX getting paid in cash. Everything's balancing out, but balancing to the upside, in my opinion. Russia, they're proposing to allow Bitcoin trading for certain investors. We obviously need to be very careful with the word certain investors. Bitcoin is for everyone, and KYC free. There's different ways to go about it if you need help the Bitcoin way. But they are allowing certain investors. So I'd like to be that certain investor if I was there. As the asset has continued to grow this year, Russia is reportedly proposing to allow Bitcoin and crypto trading for certain investors. Indeed, Russian Finance Ministry has reportedly sought to allow trading of the asset for specially qualified investors. In 2022, Moscow released a consultation paper that proposed the banning of all crypto trading and mining. Moreover, a bill was introduced to ban domestic operations of cryptocurrency exchanges earlier this year. Wait, there's more. The ministry does propose that exchanges and platforms officially registered will be the only ones allowed to trade cryptocurrency. This would mean that FEA investors are able to use crypto settlements, with Russian exchanges only allowing certain investors. Russian central bank currently does not allow its citizens to use crypto for payments. Current legislation, however, doesn't permit the purchase of these tokens on foreign exchanges. Things are changing quickly. The country has already proposed the legalization of stablecoins and international settlements. That could be huge for the country's economy, would provide more avenues for the nation to curtail sanctions and find alternate settlement assets. Not about if hopefully they do allow it for its citizens. And if they don't, just opt out, reach out to the Bitcoin way if you are stuck there or you need help KYC free. That's super easy. But using Bitcoin, it's just another talking point. It's more awareness for many people. People that are like, I'm fed up with the banks here. Got Bitcoin, so it's all good. It doesn't cause me that many issues. But there are people that aren't yet seeing Bitcoin as a viable alternative to the banking system. And if someone like Russia, a country like Russia, comes on board, then we're like, I'm having problems with my bank. Maybe I need to do something similar to what they're doing in a legal way, of course. But slowly, then suddenly, it's all just another talking point. This is about FTX as well. If you're panicking because of the government selling this, a tweet from last week, Germany, they sold $3 billion. little bit of context, but the FTX will pay out $16 billion in cash. A lot of these people, they're going to just go straight into crypto. Good for them. Have fun. They didn't learn their lesson last time. A lot of people, though, will come in to Bitcoin, depending where we are in the market. I think it's October. This is starting to happen. Couldn't be more perfect, could it? For a fresh liquidity injection, the FOMO comes in, the FOMO keeps going, and we're off to the races for the rest of the year. MicroStrategy, the 10-for-1 stock split, we covered this last week. They've been a proxy for Bitcoin for the last couple of years. They'll continue to be the largest corporate holder of Bitcoin. Announced 10-for-1 stock split on Thursday. Lovely chart scrolling. MicroStrategy launched as a provider enterprise software, but began employing an aggressive Bitcoin buying strategy 2020 and has primarily traded as a proxy for the flagship cryptocurrency's price since then. Doing a stock split, people will be unit biased. They come in, they'll do it. Michael Saylor will allow, as his price increases, he's just going to do the infinite money glitch over and over and over again. Going to continue to keep buying. People are going to jump into MicroStrategy. The people that can't buy Bitcoin directly, it's just another bullish catalyst that's coming. This February, the company said it would shift its company focus and brand to Bitcoin development. And a lot of people are doing that. Once they dive down the rabbit hole, you just realize it's Bitcoin or nothing. Dr. Jeff Ross, favorite page, stlouisfed.org. The Fred site buying eggs with Bitcoin. I've brought it up. We'll dive into it. Since they started keeping track in January 2015 through June 24, price of a dozen eggs in US dollars, up 28.9% in 9 years, from $2.11 to $2.72. Posted on X, but obviously with the chickens and them being culled at the moment with the scam, in my opinion, that's going on. A little bit of tinfoil hat, don't mean to be antagonistic, but eggs are becoming more and more scarce. They're probably going to go up in price. We are getting warnings. You're only allowed to buy 2 cartons max at the moment, very certain brands there. But if we look at the price in Bitcoin, instead of in fiat, you can see it just goes down to zero. Same with real estate, cars, fine art, fine wine, gold. Everything trends to zero when measured against Bitcoin over time. Because the Bitcoin is worth so much more than a carton of eggs, we multiplied the price by 100 million to express it in so-called Satoshis, which is the smallest subunit of Bitcoin. St. Louis Fed is providing the Bitcoin signal there. The price fluctuates quite a lot between 2,829 and 6,086 sats, which is much more than it did for the US dollar. Hopefully, if you were making this purchase with Bitcoin, you'd put many, many more eggs in your basket. The thing is, the longer you hold Bitcoin, the more eggs you can put in your basket. Like Warren Buffett, I believe another Warren Buffett quote as well is, put all your eggs in one basket and watch that basket very closely. That's what the high net worth, the very wealthy do. Maybe it pays just to copy their strategy. They've got it right. Obviously, Warren Buffett got it very wrong with Bitcoin. But Dan, Bitcoin Gandalf, I'll dive a little bit into that with the podcast we're filming tomorrow as well. Keep in mind, banks, it's pretty unsafe now to leave your money in a bank. I understand having enough expenses, 6 to 12 months, especially if you're running a business. I get it. I understand that's fine. How much fiat do you need in the banking system, though? Like when we see things like this, what we saw in Lebanon, 40 banks in China over the last month have gone down or been consolidated. All the little banks moving into the top 4 banks here in Australia, over in the US as well. To me, banks seem like a high risk, no reward trade, but 2 of the largest banks in the US, JP Morgan Chase and Wells Fargo, are declaring a staggering $3.5 billion in debts that customers can't pay back. The FDIC insurance doesn't have enough funds there to cover all investors. However, if they were to go bust, I'm not saying either of these are going to go bust. They're too big to fail, but being a too big to fail bank just means if anything happens, if there's a bank run, they fire up the money printer, they debase the currency more and more. It's not good for anyone. We saw that through 2020. They doubled the money supply. Everyone's feeling inflation now. It's transitory. Yeah, right. It hasn't been, nor has it ever really gone away. Diving in a little bit more. 3.5 billion in losses. Two of the largest banks declaring a loss of a whopping 3.5 bill, that debt that customers can't pay back. JP Morgan Chase said its net charge-offs, which are delinquent debts that banks do not expect to receive, hit 2.2 bill. They hit the $2 billion jackpot, as just red, not green, in the second quarter of the year. That's 200 million increase from the previous quarter, 800 million increase from Q2 of 2023. Meanwhile, Wells Fargo, they're not much better off, says its net charge-offs surged from 764 billion in Q2 to 1.3 billion last quarter, a 70% increase. That's not a number you want to see going up. Although the pace of inflation has reduced, Wells Fargo CFO, Chief Financial Officer, Michael Santomassimo, what a cool name, says many customers are clearly struggling as their credit card balances rise and savings dwindle, reports the New York Times. A lot of people are struggling out there. With all the money printing and inflation people are feeling everywhere. Bitcoin fixes that, but if you don't have fiat to buy Bitcoin, it's not going to fix it. And I've had that comment a couple of times because I say, get to 0.1 Bitcoin, whatever you can, buy, stack, and chill. Yes, you need fiat to be able to do that, or you can earn in Bitcoin. That's another great option. Earning fiat is insanely easy. Find a side hustle if you've got the time, or just try to spend less. But I understand how hard it is for people, especially when they're first getting in. But you've got an opportunity. It's hard, but hard times make strong men, strong women. So it's really up to you. Nobody's coming to save you. The not insurance, but like the pension system and stuff, I wouldn't rely on it. Maybe it's there when you go to retire, maybe it's not. But you've got an opportunity now to take 100% self-responsibility. It can be hard, it can be daunting. Where are you going to get the fiat from? I don't know. There are only answers that you and your family can have. But just study Bitcoin, find ways to be able to accumulate or not accumulate after you've understood what this is, because it will protect from that inflation over time. We get volatile days. 61,381. We're at $58,000 yesterday, 54,000 week ago. We're as high as what, 74,000, 73,500. That's big price swings. In the short term, Bitcoin's not helping hedge inflation. Short term, long term, CV pain, 315,000%. I'll take that trade any day. And just have a little bit of patience and not invest more than I can afford to lose or that I need short term. And everyone's coming for Bitcoin. I listen to Michael Saylor regularly, shout out to Freedom by 40, but for some reason last night I had an epiphany regarding real estate specifically. Right now, my wife and I own physical property that's denominated in fiat, which is debasing rapidly due to infinite money printing. Why not eliminate all the hassle of managing tenants, maintenance, and go buy a few more digital properties, of which there is a limited supply of only 21 million? Decided. And that 21 million, it's a little bit wrong. We don't know exactly how many Bitcoin have been lost, but say 4 or 5 million at least. That's not bad. So what, we're at about 16 million Bitcoin full stop. But they decided we're going to sell our fourplex and duplex and buy 8 to 10 more Bitcoin. Meanwhile, I got some people asking me if we're going to 47K. Come on, man. I like that attitude. And the photo of the year, I think the one with the flag was just on point, absolutely and crazy. It's like being in a movie. And if that doesn't rile anyone up with just respect for the man, I'm here in Australia, and that feeling, what happened over the weekend, shout out to Donald Trump. Hard man, hard money. He stood back up in defiance. What an absolute, what a guy, hey? Scary. And Tony put out a tweet earlier from the Bitcoin Way. Protect this man at all costs. If you can offer him any service in any way, maybe that is your duty. Obviously, you need to align with that party, but there's very little options left, in my opinion, over here, so removed from the situation. But someone that's against CBDCs, I don't know what his stance is on digital IDs, pro Bitcoin, talking about backing up the US dollar with Bitcoin. What a guy. Probably the person we need right now at this time. That's news with the fast facts. If you haven't already, hit subscribe if we vibe, smash the notification bell. Jeff Yu tomorrow morning is coming on the show live. We'll hang around for a little bit of a banter this morning as well. If you've got any comments, leave them below. Did manage to catch up on all of them or most of them, and my promise to you is I will reply. Thanks very much. Do something nice for yourself, for somebody else out there. Buy, stack, and chill. Shout out to everyone watching live or watching the replay. Let's see if it's not coming up this morning. It is what it is. Thought the chat was there. Ian, like lightning, mate. He was the first Theo. G'day, good to see you. Jake Thomas, the shot scene around the world. Block height, Rory Sailor tuning in 852,195. Brian D. Mint, shout out to you. Let us know when you want to come back on the show. The invite is always open. If you don't know Brian D. Mint, he's the author of Parallel. Absolutely amazing book. This is the how of Bitcoin. The why of Bitcoin is to be able to protect against all the noise that's going on. And this is a guide to being able to use Bitcoin to be able to live on a Bitcoin standard. It's an epic book. Anyway, Brian, come back on the show. Good to see you. Skins, good morning. Good to see you, man. VT Gothic, legends in the house. G'day from a deck in Vermont. How nice. On a beautiful summer evening, watching the grass grow. How's it getting any better than that? That is absolutely glorious. Greetings from the desert, Sean. EKZT, g'day. Hello, mate. Good to see you this morning. Life for 40 saying, g'day, mate. Nice to see Bitcoin on the rise again. It got boring for a while. It did. The price got boring for a little bit. That's cool. That's when heroes are made, legends are made. We've gotten through that. And do we still get a little bit of chop solidation? Maybe. My opinion is it's probably going to be a little bit more volatile. Even if that volatility is only like 2 to 5% daily, either red or green, maybe we get some really big drops. I hope so. I prefer it when it's red. Allows me to push the buy button. But I think that boring period, if it's either finished or it's like really nearing towards the end, I think things are going to get insane. August, September, especially if we get those rate cuts, then the election's coming up. Wild. Absolutely wild, I think. And then FTX coming in with all the money, FASB accounting at the end of the year. Good times, really, really good times. It's a roller coaster and, you know, it's a theme park, but we're all here for it. So why scream? Just to enjoy it. It's over time, you like wake up and you're like, that was one crazy wild dream. I was glad I was there for participated in this history being made. What happened yesterday? History being made. It's a wild time, and I think it's going to continue to get more wild. Luckily, we know which year we're going to be down. Yeah, red, green, 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 red. It's just up, down. That's what it does. What about if we vibe? Come on, Rory, you know, hit subscribe. Unknown user. I sold all my Bitcoin last night, hoping at 60K, hoping to buy back in cheaper. Yep, unknown user, I do not believe you in the slightest, or I really hope in my heart that wasn't you. And if you want to trade Bitcoin, I hope you're a trader, and I hope you've put in the cost of tuition, which is losing extraordinary amounts of money. That's for some people, I get it. Have fun doing it. For the majority of people, 90% lose 90% of their money in 90 days. I think that's how the saying goes. Maybe it's just easy to buy, stack, and chill. But if that's you, have fun. Unknown user, I truly don't believe you on that. Kia ora, David Ball. Dave Ball, good to see you this morning, brother. Mr. Android, troll and unknown user. Please only buy Bitcoin if you see this as a long-term investment. Otherwise, you could get wrecked continuously. 100%. You need to buy Bitcoin. Even having a 5-year time frame, maybe that's on the shorter side. 10 years, probably sitting pretty if you can push it out from there. Hold Bitcoin forever, your retirement, to be able to pass down to your future's future. That's a better way to be able to do it. Excuse me, a little dog, I can hear her putting a nose on the door, but I locked her out this morning. Chris, good to see you this morning. Massive bailout coming for the banking industry again, isn't it? Isn't it crazy? They can take all the risks. They get pretty much all the reward. I mean, we take all the risk. They have no risk. They take all the reward. And if they stuff up and just fire it up, it's insane. It's crazy. The cantillionaires, hey, those close to the money printer when investors love volatility. G'day from Kalamazoo. What a name, hey. What a place. I need to Google Kalamazoo. It's got to be a pretty beautiful place with a name like that, I'm sure, Chris. Ian, good to see you again. First and not last, Bitcoin is inevitable, mate. Fair dinkum, 100%. It's just math. It is number, go up. Technology, why? Always going to print more money. They're going to debase hard assets. Hard assets going to go up. Bitcoin's the scarcest, hardest, fairest engineered money to ever exist in human history. And we're here for it. Like, isn't it crazy? Isn't it an amazing journey to be on? It's a wild ride. Anyway, I'm reading Parallel because of your advice, and it's true. The book is amazing. I'm loving it, making you see the world how it really is. Nino, thank you for reading the book so you don't need to eat the bug. I troll people with that all the time. Orange killing people. And I'll give them a card. It's on the card. You need to read the books or eat the bugs. And they're like, what do you mean? I say, read the books or have fun staying poor. And I'm just winding them up a little bit. But whether people buy Bitcoin or not, I actually don't care. But somebody that doesn't study Bitcoin now, where we are in history, with the events that we saw over the weekend, with the unfortunate incident with Trump and then Bitcoin pumping straight away, Russia talking about it, Larry Fink talking about it. If people aren't paying attention to Bitcoin, if they don't understand it now, it will be their biggest regret. They don't need to buy it, but just to be like, no, that's a scam, that's a Ponzi scheme. That's on them. And I'm so glad people do take the action. And when you have a book, then you've got a book to be able to pass on for people. Talking about books, I just love books. The Hidden Cost of Money. Seb Bunny will be coming on. We're just confirming a podcast this morning. He's got a couple of messages there for me to reply to. So look forward to it. And then Joseph will be doing a podcast with him tomorrow as well, pre-recorded, about his new book that's coming out. There's some really incredible books out there. All the books are incredible. So look forward to them. Read them. We don't need to eat the bugs or audio books, whatever works, and then pass it on to somebody. Unknown user could just be trolling. Mr. Android, 100% unknown user is trolling, or they have to be. Because if it's the same unknown user that's here day in, day out, they're so much smarter than that. So unknown user, if you've got a couple of seconds, if you can confirm if you're trolling, it hurts. If you're sold, it absolutely hurts. And then maybe Bitcoin just crashes back down. Wall Street comes in $57,000 and you get that under 60,000 and you're all good. Maybe. To me, that's risky. So fiat comes in, fiat goes out. Holding it in the bank to me is for the shortest amount of time is the risk. Looking forward to it, Joseph. Cannot wait, brother. If you're lurking, say g'day when the video has finished being live. I truly appreciate everyone. Kez, good to see you. You're all legends. Like, we're here for history, for a moment in time that's iconic. Love him or hate him, Trump's a hard man. He's talking about hard money. Could he change his stance when he gets in there? He could. We've seen many presidents, politicians say one thing when they are looking for votes and they change. I don't think that's going to happen this time. Maybe that's a little bit naive. I just don't think so. I think where he is now, time of life and what's happened, he's fighting for fair. And at least I hope so. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Jeff Yu tomorrow morning, same time, 7:30 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. It's 45 minutes earlier than right now at the time that you were watching this. Should be very interesting. It's the Bitcoin ETF. I don't think anyone should hold the ETF, but I'd like to find out who Jeff thinks that the ETF is for, who it benefits. Maybe superannuation funds, which is like IRAs or maybe Roth IRAs, maybe IRAs is closer, but like our pension system over here, our retirement accounts, everyone, if they're earning like a wage, I think it's like 12.5% is taken from them and it's put into their superannuation, and most of that is just invested on their behalf. They take very little control of it and it follows the market, or it doesn't do really well. Other people will use the 12.5%, put in a self-managed super fund, and can buy whatever they want. With a self-managed super fund, you can just buy Bitcoin, hold in cold storage. That's what I do. It's what my mum is in the process of doing. It's taken her so long to understand Bitcoin. She could just buy the ETF, but the ETF to me is not real Bitcoin. It's not the sovereign bearer asset that we want. But I want to ask him, maybe just the general super funds that for everyone that's still asleep, they're just like, that's in the too hard basket. I'm not going to manage my own money, which is insane when people are working for it for their entire lives. I understand it's daunting, but it's just something we need to learn by reading the books. I'll find out. Maybe it's for them. I don't know. I don't see why it would be. I'm not in that system. I want to take control, have 100% responsibility. Maybe it benefits the people that aren't willing to. I don't know. If you've got any ideas there why the ETF could be beneficial for certain people, that would help out. I'm obviously so biased out, so down the rabbit hole, the echo chamber, that it's so far outside my perception. But if you've got any ideas, why good for pensions and old TradFi, high net worth individuals, yeah, pretty much. Who are you using for self-managed super funds? eSuper. They're very easy. I promise you, if my mum can do it, nearly all by herself, pretty much 100% by herself. She just sent me the things to sign that I needed to. It's super, super simple. Obviously, you need to understand Bitcoin. Couple of good ways. This is how I'd understand Bitcoin for someone straight away. If they're willing to read the Bitcoin Standard, which is that book, get them to read that and they're sweet. If they're not willing to read that book straight away because it's a full lesson in economics, get them to start with Beers for Bitcoin. It's this big 6 to 8 hours. You can read it a lot faster if you're a fast reader, but it's the quickest book to be able to get just an understanding of Bitcoin. That's the what is Bitcoin, how it works. This is the why of Bitcoin. That's the second book to be able to read. Third book, if you can flip over and then get them to read the Bitcoin Standard, great. If you can't, then maybe the hidden cost of money, and then try throw in the Bitcoin Standard. But I found starting with the smaller books, it like sort of hooks people in because Bitcoin is absolutely so fascinating. It relates to every area of everyone's life. Whatever way people can find an interest and then put in the work, at least they're good. So that's my thoughts on it. Bearer Assets, FTW. Thanks, legend. But yeah, eSuper fun. Super easy. Little bit of understanding. Get them to understand it. Why they need to hold in self-custody, not the ETF. And sit pretty. I think in Australia we've got $3 trillion in superannuation, like this big retirement pool. And I believe the current Prime Minister said when he was campaigning he'd never touch it. There's a promise to be made, and then they've been looking and been like, maybe we can use that for like military spending. No, I don't agree with that, man. That's why it's imperative, or whatever they want to spend it for. They just see it there. They're like, there's all these funds, all this fiat money. We need to get into there. We need to be able to use it. The moochers, the looters. Don't let that be you. Maybe that doesn't happen. Maybe they said they wouldn't do it, and then they said, maybe they're looking at it, and then they definitely don't do it. Don't know. But why expose yourself, your future, your golden years to bureaucracy, to the government? 100% self-responsibility, 100% of the time. These are all... KesG, what's the annual fee? New Brian Capital help you to hold Bitcoin for self-managed super fund. Kaz would really be interested there in whatever the fee is as well. That's the news with the fast facts. A little bit of a banter. Jeff Yu tomorrow morning, Wednesday. It's a packed week, absolutely packed week. Rory, if we can line up getting you on as co-host on Wednesday morning before you fly out, be absolutely epic. huge week coming up, a lot of podcasts that we'll be dropping. So hit the notification bell, hit subscribe. If you need any help whatsoever or a free call, reach out to Tony and the team. If you've got any questions for Tony, I think what I'll dive into is the cybersecurity side of things for this conversation. Find out a lot more about SIM swaps, protecting your devices, why you may or may not want to run a VPN, having things run in the background to be able to protect your digital infrastructure. Because while we're physical beings, we spend so much of our life enmeshed within the matrix. We want to be able to have that as secure as possible, especially when we're dealing with generational wealth. $1,400 is New Brighton Capital, I believe. eSuper Fund's about $1,000. First year is free, if I got it right, or it was when I started up, and I believe it still is with Mum going through it. And then I think it's about $1,000 a year. Maybe it's gone up a little bit as well. I should know. I just paid it. It is what it is. It's very little in the scheme of things. One thing you need to be aware of with self-managed super, not financial advice, not an account, blah, blah, blah. You just get all that. It doesn't come with insurance like a normal superannuation fund does. So either have enough money there if something goes wrong to be able to pay for hospital bills or whatever, life insurance, or get life insurance and add that into your super fund, or keep a normal traditional super fund with just enough funds to give you that life insurance there. Something to keep in mind. Anyway, these are all legends. Have a beautiful day. I said it before, I'll say it again. Do something nice for yourself. Do something nice for somebody else. Be blessed. Peace. Just really quickly, fact checking in real time. Mr. Android, $1,400 for eSuper Fund. There we go. That's inflation, hey? It's gone up 40% in 4 years, same as the money supply. Go figure. Anyway, let's get out of here. Peace.